అందరికీ నమస్కారములు. Today is another episode in Samskrutam language learning by Shri Akela Hemakanta Prabhakar Rao garu. We have already completed the Pravesha portion of the Samskrutam learning, and we are on Parichaya portion syllabus. Already completed around 11 episodes. We are left with another 6 episodes, 6 sessions. So with this, we will start the session paying respects to our country by reciting Vande Mataram by Challa Chittibab Garu, and then Prarthana. Let us request Challa Chittibab Garu to recite Vande Mataram, please.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Sujalam Sufalam, Malayaj Sitalam, Sasya Syamalam Mataram, Vande Mataram. Subrajosna pulakitayaminim pullakusumita drumadala shobhinim suhasinim sumadhura bhashinim sukhadam varadam mataram Vande Mataram Vande Mataram.
Vande Mataram. ధన్యవాదములండి చల్లా చిట్టిబాబు గారు. Thank you so much. Now let us request Sudhir ji to chant Prarthana, please.
Let's start with 1 minute meditation. Om. 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 Om Gananaan Tva Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamashravastamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashunvannotibhisida Sadanam. Om Shri Mahaganadhipataye Namaha. Om Namo Om Prano Devi Saraswati Vajibhivajinivati Dhinama Vityavatu. Om Shri Mahasaraswatyai Namaha. Gurureva Gati Gurumeva Bhaje Gurunaiva Sahasmi Namo Gurave Naguroh Paramam Shishurasmi Guru Matirasti Gurau Mam Pahi Guru. ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवम् उपास्महे श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः मातृदेवो भव पितृदेवो भव आचार्यदेवो भव अतिथिदेवो भव ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम्
శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః హరి ఓం. ధన్యవాదములండి సుధీర్ గారు. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్. నౌ లెట్ us request ప్రభాకర్ రావు గారు టు స్టార్ట్ ద వెబినార్ ప్లీజ్.
हरिः ओम् सर्वेभ्यः स्वागतं व्याहरामि. स्वागतं नमस्कारः सर्वेभ्यः नमस्कारः. अद्य संस्कृतपाठ्यकार्यक्रमः आरम्भं कुर्मः. जयतु संस्कृतं जयतु भारतम्. पठामि संस्कृतं नित्यं वदामि संस्कृतं सदा ध्यायामि संस्कृतं सम्यक् वन्दे संस्कृतमातरम्. संस्कृतस्य प्रसाराय नैजं सर्वं ददाम्यहम्. संस्कृतस्य सदा भक्तो वन्दे संस्कृतमातरम्. संस्कृतस्य कृते जीवन् संस्कृतस्य कृते यजन् आत्मानमाहुतं मन्ये वन्दे संस्कृतमातरम्. वन्दे संस्कृतमातरम्. इदानीं पर्यन्तं वयं प्रवेशभागः समाप्तं कृत्वा परिचयभागम् आरम्भं कृतवन्तः. परिचयभागे 6 भागान् वयं पठितवन्तः. सप्तमभागम् इदानीम् आरम्भं कुर्मः. Till now we have completed Pravesha Bhaga of Samskrutam and Parichaya Bhaga we have started. In Parichaya Bhaga we have completed 6 lessons. And now 7th lesson we are starting. And last lesson is very important lesson, Anvaya Kramaha we did. And now we are going to take up Anuvada Paddhati. It's another important chapter in Sanskritam. Translation into Sanskritam or from Sanskritam to English or any other language. What are the rules to be followed while translating one language to another language? That is the important concept we are going to learn today. In this, let me share the lesson first. हरि ओम्. सर्वेभ्यः पश्यन्ति खलु?
It's not yet open. It's opening. Yeah, it's okay.
अस्तु. Lesson 7, 26/6/2025, Guruvaram, today, Thursday. Now, Anuvada Paddhati. What is this Anuvada Paddhati? We are going to learn now. Writing or speaking ideas of one language in another language is translation. Translation is two types. One is translation of the tatparyam or purport or bhavam into another language. Translation, one language to another language. That is bhavanuvadaha. That means here the bhavam is important. It's not the language there. What bhavam is conveyed in one language, we'll take that bhavam and put in another language. It's not the words that are used in one language is translated to another language. Maybe some other words are used. So here, bhavam is important. Translation of the purport or tatparyam is bhavanuvadaha. So, anuvadaha is two types. One is bhavanuvadaha. Second is literal translation. Literal word-to-word translation. That is, take the words in one sentence and again construct with the same words in another language, the same sentence again. That is shabdanuvadaha. So, anuvada paddhati, how many times? How many types? Two types. One is bhavanuvadaha. Second is shabdanuvadaha. Our main aim is bhavanuvadaha. Actually, the bhavam is important. So, our main aim should be always to convey the bhavam of one language to another language, But to do bhavanuvadaha, lot of pratibha or pandityam is required in that literature. If you want to do anuvadam into Sanskrit, the pandityam in Sanskrit, the sabda knowledge in the Sanskrit is very important. That similarly, if you want to translate it into English, the knowledge of English words, the knowledge of English shabdaha is very, very important. So unless you are a pandit in that language, you will not be able to convey the bhavam correctly, very precisely, what the kavi, the poet, intended to convey to the public through his essays, to his kavyam or to his whatever it is, prose or poetry, whatever it is. So our main aim is bhavanuvadaha, but we can do bhavanuvadaha when we are master of or have a command in that language. So shabdanuvadaha is a stepping stone to enter into bhavanuvadaha. So first we should learn shabdanuvadaha, develop your pandityam, then coming to bhavanuvadaha. So directly bhavanuvadaha going is a bit difficult. It's not possible. So one should start with Sabdanuvadaha to go to learn to Bhavanuvadaha. In Sabdanuvadaha, what we do? Translating every word. That's what we do. In Sabdanuvadaha, we translate every word of a sentence into another language. That is translating literally. We take each word of one language, find its equivalent in another, and write there. But when we translate a sentence, is it exactly we can do? It may not be so. Sometimes it may give a different meanings if you do it exactly, word to word translation. It's called makki to makki. That's not like that. So sambhavam is to be conveyed. That's sambhavam is to be taken care of. But that doesn't mean we go on changing the words. We take the words as it is and bhavam also try to convey what they wanted to convey in that sentence. So the idea or bhava in the sentence also should be carried forward. Therefore, the goal should be to express the idea contained in the original clearly in another language translation. So now this is the first step. To please read the following examples where word-to-word translation is done. Okay. Original sentence is the first column, word-to-word translation is the second column, and correct translation with correct meaning is the third column. That means second column is not correct. Second column is not conveying correctly what is there in the original sentence. Monkey claims the tree. So monkey is vanara, vanaraha. Claims is the arohati. The tree is vrikshaha. So the translation done is vanaraha, vrikshaha, arohati. Does it convey the meaning? Vanarha arohati, vrukshaha arohati. In Kartari Prayoga Vakyam, what we learned? Karta will be Pradhama Vibhakti and Kriya will follow Karta. So here Pradhama Vibhakti words are two. Vanaraha is also Pradhama Vibhakti. Rukshaha is also Pradhama Vibhakti. First case. So Vanarha arohati, Vrukshaha arohati. So who is arohati? Vanara is climbing or Vrukshaha is climbing? Obviously Vanaraha is climbing. Vruksha cannot climb, but it's giving wrong meaning there. So this is word to word translation. Exactly, Makki to Makki. But it's wrong. It has to convey the meaning. Meaning means, that means we have to follow the principles of Samskrutam. What are the principles of Samskrutam? When you write a Samskrita sentence, in Kartari Prayoga Kriya Vakyam, that is active voice, the Karta should be in Pradhama Vibhakti, the Karma object should be in Ditya Vibhakti, and Kriya should follow Pradhama Vibhakti, the Karta. That principle is to be followed. So the principles we cannot eliminate while translating even the Sabdanuvadaha. So with using the principles of Samskrutam, if you translate word to word, how it will be? Third column. Mainki Vanaraha, the tree, Vruksham, Ditya Vibhakti Prayoga. Because that is the object. Vanara is climbing the tree. The tree is the object there. So the object should be in Ditya Vibhakti. So the Vruksha Sabdam should be in Ditya Vibhakti. So Vruksham. Vanaraha Vruksham arohati. Here this is conveying the correct meaning. So what we have done here, we followed the Kartari Prayoga Niyamas, the Kartari active voice, the Kartari Prayoga Niyamas we have followed here. The rules we have followed here while doing word to word translation also. This is the first step of the, if it is active voice rules. If it is passive voice rules, we have to follow and do the word to word translation. Now, the boy reads the lesson. Balakaha pataha patati wrong. Balakaha patam patati. Patam Ditya Vibhakti should be correct. So she crosses the river. Sa nadi tarati wrong. Sa nadim tarati. Right. So similarly, other sentences. Saha agatavan asit. This is a past participle. He come was. He came was. Sa indicates he. Agatavan indicates past tense, came. Asit indicates was. But that does not the correct meaning he wanted to convey. We wanted to convey he came. He had come. That's what we wanted to convey. He had come. Just came. He had come at that time. He had come. To convey that he had come, we said Saha agatavan asit is Samskrutam. Similarly, Sa agatavati asit. This is the Samskrutam to English we are saying here. So similar in the above sentences, the first lot, in the first lot, up to the sea crosses the river. There the one para is there, I forgot that. In the above sentences, in second column, the words declined, underlined are wrong. These words represent karma in the sentences. Karma padam in active voice sentence will be written. This is all I explained by written Dirgha Vibhakti. Whereas, while doing word to word translation is written Pradhama Vibhakti. Hence, the third column gives a correct word to word translation. Now read the following sentence where Samskrutam to English is done. Here, same way again. The second column is wrong. Third column will be correct. Saha agatavan asit. This agatavan asit wants to convey he had come. But he came is a word to word translation. But this is not correct. This should be word to word translation also should be done with the principles of the Samskrita grammar. Basic grammar. Sa agatavati asit. She came was wrong. She had come is correct. So Lekhani patita asit. Lekhani pen, patita was fallen. Asit was wrong. The pen had fallen is correct. So similarly, aham agatavan asam. I came was wrong. I had come is correct. So the agatavan asam is prayogam. Patita asit prayogam. Agatavati asit prayogam is a prayogam which indicates past participle principle. That principle if you do word-to-word translation, like in second column, it will become wrong. So we have to use that principle and do it. I had come. Aham agatavan asam. I had come. Saha agatavan asti. He has come. Present tense. Sa agatavati asti. She has come. Saha agatavan syat. This is sambhavana. So he came, perhaps, might. But the correct one is he might have come. Then similarly, sa agatavati syat. She came, perhaps, might. Perhaps or might. So the might, she might have come. This is correct translation. Lekhani patita syat. Pen was fallen, perhaps might. Wrong. The pen might have fallen. This is correct. So the translation in the second column is wrong. The correct translation is found in the third column. This is the first basic principle where the basic grammar sentence rules, kartari prayogam, karmani prayogam, the word, the verb prayogam, all these things, fundamental rules of the verb, karta, karma, vibhakti, and vibhakti rules, and then vachana rules, and then the Katari Vakya sentence rules, Vakya rules, active voice rules, passive voice rules, all these things should be followed while doing the translation. This is first. There are 9 types of rules in this. The second one is using indeclinables, avyayas, in translation to convey the complete meaning. Third rule is, first rule is following grammatical rules of Kartari Prayoga and Karmani Prayoga. Second one is using avyayas to convey the correct meaning. Third one is using a split verb, khandakriya. Some verbs will be very hard verbs, which you will not be able to understand by the people. So for that purpose, during translation, using those difficult verbs will be for understanding it will be difficult. So we have to use the split verbs were there. They are called khandakriya. This we learned in Pravesha. This third rule. The fourth rule is idiomatic usages in translation. There every language will have some idioms. That idioms will convey a specific meaning. Unless you convey that specific meaning, that will not work. That will not convey correct meaning. So that specific meaning is to be translated with a specific word. So that specific words are to be known for that specific meaning. This is idiomatic usage principle. Then fifth principle is translation stories into or lengthy articles. And at this stage, Shabdanuvada takes backseat. When you take 3-4 sentences or 5 sentences or a para, then the Bhavanuvada has to be resorted to. But at the same time, we will not change the number of sentences, will not change much on the concept. That means Purva Para writing. When you write Tatparya, what you do? You take the stories Purvam, you take the story future, and then combine and write when you go Bhavanuvada. But I told in Anvayakrama, while writing Tatparyam, we will link up the story back, past story, and we will link up the future story also, while giving the meaning of this present sloka. That's what Tatparyam means. That is Bhavanuvada is being done there. Bhava meaning is being given there. So that type of Bhavanuvada is required, is not required, but Bhavanuvada is required when you take up a para translation, not a single sentence translation. So to some extent, Bhavanuvada is to be used when you take up para-wise translations. Translation of a story, or translation of an item, translation of an article, translation of a paper cutting, news items, editorials, like that. Then use of Bhuta Krudanta Rupas. We learned Bhuta Krudanta Rupas. What are Bhuta Krudanta Rupas? Tavyat Prachayam, Anir Prachayam, Kurta Prachayam, Satricha Prachayam, Sanach Prachayam, Twa Prachayam, Lep Prachayam, Tuman Prachayam. These Bhuta Krudanta Rupas we learned. In the first lesson or second lesson we learned Krudantas. Use of those Krudantas to convey correct meaning. That is 6th rule. The 7th rule is use of adjectives in translation. When you are using adjectives translation, that Visheshana Vishesha principles are to be followed. That also to be followed in doing translation. This is 7th rule. 7th rule, 8th rule is use of vidling, passive voice. When you are using passive voice, the vidling prayogam, when you use, how the sentence is to be constructed. We have to follow karmani prayoga rules. When you are using vidling kriya, while translating, if you use vidling kriya, the vidling kriya rules are to be followed. If you are using sambhavanardha vidling, that type one type of rule is to be followed. If you are using tavyat anir prachayas or ta prachayam, we have to use different rules are to be followed. That karmani prayoga rules are to be followed. So kartari prayoga rules, karmani prayoga rules, depending on the kurdanta you are using or lakara you are using, you have to follow those rules. Vidling in passive form or karmani kriya using tavyat anir forms. So these are the rules to be followed in eighth point. 9th point is use the style and standards of the language, bhasha maryada. Every bhasha has got its own maryada. That maryada is to be followed. We cannot change that maryada. Based on that maryada only we should use the sentences. So that's what we have to follow. These 9 things I will explain now again. Now I explained all the first one. Second one I will go back and tell you. These are the 9 rules for the Anuvada Saddhati. The second one. Use of indeclinables in translation. There are cha, api, eva. These are the things normally we use regularly in a sentence. Cha means it conveys the meaning and. It joins 2 sentences. Cha joins 2 persons, 2 joins 2 sentences like that. This is used when words are conjoined. Rama and Krishna. So what we do? Ramaha, Krishnaha, cha. Sita and Savitri. Sita, Savitri, cha. When you use and in English, and is in between Sita and Savitri. But when you use Samskrutam cha, that cha comes at the end. Rama, Lakshmana and Sita. Leda Rama, Lakshmana and Sita. Ramaha, Lakshmanaha, Sita cha. So the cha comes at the end. All the numbers you have to say. At the end you say cha. That is Samskrutam rules. So in English, and is used before the last in the list. That is normally done. Last in the list. Rama, Lakshmana and Sita. But in Sanskritam, Rama, Lakshmana, Sita cha. Ramaha, Lakshmana, Sita cha. The cha goes at the end. So that is the practice we should remember when you are using cha, where cha should be used. So that is first one. Eva. Eva gives a certainty, definiteness. So whenever eva is added to goes along with a word, that word gets stress. That word gets certainty. That word gets definiteness. So whenever the eva should be used where you want to stress a word. So tatra eva asti. You want to say that place is important. Which place you are talking about? That tatra. There. Tatra means there. There is only there. That is only there. It's not somewhere else. I am sure. You are saying that I am sure. Tatra eva. That eva is added to atra. Tatra. So tatra eva go together. This eva avyayam, indeclinable, goes together. So this eva, wherever you use, it gives stress onto the word that is attached to it. Tatra eva asti. The word emphasizes a statement. It conveys certainty. This is called avadharana or nishchayaha. It is called avadharana. A certainty, nishchayam. Certainty is called avadharana or nishchayaha. The word eva should be placed after the word which is to be emphasized, stressed. Importance is to be given like that. Ramaha eva nagaram gacchati. Take this, see the sentences. Ramaha eva nagaram gacchati. Here Rama is important. The person Rama is only going. Nobody else is going. Only Rama goes to the city. Then Rama is stressed there. So this eva is attached to Rama. Ramaha eva nagaram gacchati. The next sentence is Ramaha nagaram eva gacchati. So the eva is added to nagaram. Rama will go to nagaram only, nowhere else. The other cities are not important. Only nagaram he is going. Other places are not important. Rama goes to the city only. That only goes to city. Similarly, eva goes to only nagaram. Nagaram eva gacchati. Next, third sentence is Ramaha Nagaram Gacchati Eva. So here stress goes to the Kriya, Gacchati. He goes only. We are not sure whether he comes or not. He may not come. He goes only there. He goes city only. He may not go to village also. So he may not come also. So that is not sure. But Gacchati is sure. So Saha Nagaram Gacchati Eva. Rama will certainly go to the city. So the going is the certain there. There is no doubt in it. There is no doubt about his going. So in the above sentences, observe that by adding eva to the object, subject, object and verb, that particular word is emphasized. Here follow some examples of eva coming afterwards. Agacchati eva, he is certainly coming. Shrunoti eva, I shall definitely listen. Agacchati eva, they are surely coming. Saha agatavan eva, he has come, of course, after all. Patitam eva, it has surely fallen. Pasyami eva, I shall certainly see. Karomi eva, I shall certainly do. Labhyate eva, it will certainly be, surely be found. Dattavati eva, she has certainly given. This is the usage of eva prayoga. Then api. Api gives also similar to eva. Api and eva goes similar, but in a different sense. What is the difference here? Rama api nagaram gacchati. That is, Rama is not the only person here going. Some other person is going, Rama is also going. That is the meaning of api. But whereas eva is, only Rama was going. No other person is going. That is certainty of a particular person. Here api is also. Along with somebody, this man also is going. So some other man is going, Rama too is going. Rama too is coming. Ramaha api nagaram agacchati. Rama is also coming to the nagaram. Some other man is also coming to the nagaram. Some other person also is coming to the nagaram. Along with somebody else, Rama is also going. So that is what it conveys here. That is the difference between eva and api. So the usage of eva and api should be properly used while doing translation. Ramaha nagaram api agacchati. He goes somewhere else, nagaram also he comes. So it is the second thing. It is also coming. He is going somewhere else first. And nagaram also is coming. So this api goes to nagaram. So the alternation is nagaram and some other place. Both. So third one is Rama nagaram agacchati api. That means it goes to the verb. Rama is coming also to the city. He is going somewhere else, coming also here. Somewhere else he is going and he is coming here also. So this, along with going, is coming is also being done. So this is the supporting to another kriya. So two kriyas are being done there. So Rama is coming also to the city. It is doing something else also there. He is doing something else also. So use of, now third rule is use of khanda kriya or split verb in translation. What is khanda kriya? In translation is not limited to the transfer of sentences from one language to another. Translation continuously takes place in our minds when we are writing independently or talking. What is meant by translation? When you are translation from one language to another language, in the language you think first. You understand the meaning of that sentence. Then you translate in another language. That's what is doing, your mind is doing. So translation continuously takes place in our minds first. When we are writing independently or talking, first mind is acting. So we think in our mother tongue and mentally translate the idea in another language before writing it done. So we should resort to the use of simple sentences or simple language in translation to begin with. So to make it very simple, we should not tax our brain too much with language jargons. So we should use the simple language. So how to use a simple language? In Sanskritam, verbs pose some difficulty in translation. All verbs is not easy to understand or to translate in Sanskritam. So what we do, we use khanda kriyas. That's what we have learned in Pravesha. Adhite. Now I am telling you, since our vocabulary of verbs is lacking. Now at the minimum, at the beginning stage, our sabdajnanam, vocabulary is low. So in such case, what we have to do for difficult words, we have to use difficult verbs. We have to use khanda kriya. It is but natural, we find it difficult. That's natural. So in such a situation, it is better to split verbs. Adhite. If you say adhite normally not heard of. Adhite is normally not heard of. But Ajjayanam is heard of. Vedajjayanam, Shastrajjayanam, Vyakaranajjayanam. This Ajjayanam word is usually normally known. So Adhite word, when you break it up, how it becomes Ajjayanam karoti is equal to Adhite. Ajhite means Ajjayanam karoti. Nidrati means Nidram karoti. Vikrinite means Vikrenam karoti. Bhunkte means Bhojanam karoti. Chinatti means Chedanam karoti. Like that, every kriya you can make into karoti business. Here, karoti is the kriya. The real work is in namvachakam. Real work of study, ajjayanam. That is in namvachakarupam. But karoti, doing. Study is doing. Nidra, doing. Vikrayanam, doing. Bhojanam, doing. Chedanam, doing. So doing is only kriya we can operate. That if you know the all different past, present tense, past tense, future tense of karoti, that is sufficient. But whereas if you want to learn adhite, past tense, future tense, and all other different forms of verb, it is difficult because that is a difficult kriya. Similarly, nidrati, similarly, vikranite, these are the difficult kriyas whereby learning different forms of verb is a bit higher pandityam. So before going to the higher pandityam, we can use the same words in the form of khanda kriya. So that's how you can make the translation very simple and easy. So this is the next this principle. By using ajjayanam karoti instead of adhite, the same idea is conveyed. Almost all verbs can be simple splits and simple verbs need not be split. But all the simple verbs need not be split. Patati, likati, for that not required. Patanam karoti, lekanam karoti, not required because patati, linkati, all the simple kriyas. It is easy for us to make different forms. Bhutakalam, that is easy for them. So those things are not required. Only difficult things you can expect to do. So pustakam adhite, you can write. But now here, when we are using this khanda kriya, you have to follow another rule. In a sentence, earlier we learned kartri prayoga vakyam, karta karma kriya. Karta prathama vibhakti, karma ditya vibhakti, kriya will be there, following karta. So if you write pustakam adhite, saha pustakam adhite means what? That man is reading the book, studying the book, ajjayanam karoti. So for that, when you use this ajjayanam karoti, this pustakam, when you use pustakam adhite, what is this position of pustakam here? Ditya vibhakti. Kartari prayoga vakyam ditya vibhakti. Saha pustakam adhite. Saha is karta, pustakam is karma, adhite is kriya. So pustakam is the karma, ditya vibhakti. But when you use adhite in khanda kriya, this is taking, ajjayanam is taking second the karma position. Karoti is becoming kriya, ajjayanam becoming karma. Ajjayanam karoti. Now what happens to the earlier karma? That goes to sashti vibhakti. That is in relation with ajjayanam. Ajjayanam kim karoti? Kasya karoti. Kasya ajjayanam karoti. Whose ajjayanam we are doing? Pustakasya. Kasya Adhyayanam Karoti, Pustakasya Adhyayanam Karoti. Now, Pustakam Shabdam went into what? Sashti Vibhakti. So, this rules is to be important while using a Khandakriya. So, in doing translation, while using Khandakriya, this we should not forget. So, Pustakasya Adhyayanam Karoti. Lekhanim Vikrinite. Lekhanyaha Vikrinam Karoti. Lekhani Shabdam goes in the Sashti Vibhakti. Lekhanyaha. Lekhanyaha Vikrinam Karoti. Vruksham Chinatti. Vruksham Chinatti is the combined Kriya. When you use breakup Kriya, split Kriya, Vrukshasya Chedanam Karoti. Vruksha Sabdam goes to Sashti Vibhakti. Vrukshasya. Next. Hastam Upayunkte. Hastasya Upayogam Karoti. Upayunkte means Upayogam Karoti. Kasya Upayogam Karoti? Hastasya Upayogam Karoti. Hasta. While eating, what you are using? Hand. So, hastasya upayogam karoti. Hastam upayunkte. When you combine the kriya. When you do, you back up kriya, this upayunkte becomes upayogam karoti. So, hasta becomes hastasya. Hastam becomes hastasya. So, dwaram pidhatte. So, pidhatte, when you break up, pidhanam karoti. So, dwaram becomes dwarasya. This is wrong. Dwarsya written here. This is wrong. Dwaram dwarasya. Dwarasya should come there. Dwarasya pidhanam karoti. However, when intransitive verbs like nidrati, prayatate, here, if you see, when you say nidrati, prayatate, prayatnam karoti, these things are intransitive verbs. What is meant by intransitive verb? Akarmaka kriya. We have learned in Pravesha 2 bhagams. Sakarmaka kriya, akarmaka kriya. Hasati. Kim hasati? No karma. That is akarmaka kriya. Patati. Kim patati? Pustakam patati. Patham patati. Karma is there. So for that, it is easy. Karma, we go to Sashti Vibhakti in this Khandakriya. But when you use the Akarmaka Kriya, that is intransitive verb, what happens to this Khandakriya at that time? What happens to the Karma at that time? Karma is not there. So we don't need to use Karma there. That is what. However, when intransitive verbs like Nidrati, Praitate do not have an object, so the question of changing the object into positive case, Sashti Vibhakti, possessive case, that is Sashti Vibhakti, does not arise. While using intransitive verb, this rule doesn't require. That point we should know. When split up Nidram, Prayatnam, Nidrati, Nidram Karoti, Prayatate, Prayatnam Karoti. At that time, there is no karma. So, because that karma need not go to Sashti Vibhakti. That is what the third rule. Fourth rule is idioms usage. Idiom, when you use some words like a black sheep, it got a specific meaning. In English, a black sheep means it's not Krishna Ajaha. The meaning, direct translation goes to black means Krishna, sheep means Ajaha. Does it convey the meaning? What does it mean by black sheep in English? In black sheep, a meaning means Vanchaka, the deceiver. If there is a deceiver, we call him as a black sheep. He is apparently he doesn't see, but he is doing all nonsense behind. That man we call him a black sheep. So a black sheep, Krishna Ajaha, if you translate, that goes wrong. So you have to use the correct word for that idioms. These are all easy idioms. A black sheep, an old hand, a snake in the grass. Like that, so many things are there. Those type of idioms, you have to use the correct usage of word, equivalent, having equivalent meaning. Here, bhavam we are taking. Even word to word translation also, the correct bhavam you have to convey. That is the main important point. You cannot change the bhavam because you are using word to word translation. Sabdanuvadava, because you are doing, you cannot change the meaning of the sentence. So you have to use the correct meaning, correct word, suitable word for that idiom. A black sheep means you have to use vanchakaha. An old hand, if is there, you have to use anubhavi. You cannot say prachina hasta. Old is prachinaha, hand is astaha. Can you say prachina hastaha? It looks odd. Anubhavi, a knowledgeable person. An old hand is a knowledgeable person, Anubhavi. A snake in the grass, that means it is not seen. What is there? Inside. Gupta Satru, unknown enemy, is called a snake in the grass. Unknown enemy is called snake in the grass. But if you translate word to word, that becomes a snake in the grass, Truneshu. In the grass means Trineshu Stitaha. In the grass means what is the translation? Truneshu Stitaha. Truna means grass. In the grass, Truneshu Stitaha. Snake, Sarpaha. Truneshu Stita Sarpaha. Does it convey the meaning? It doesn't convey the meaning. Gupta Satruhu conveys the meaning. So similarly, blue blood. That gives Kulinaha. The correct meaning is Kulinaha. But Neela Kamalam. Neela Raktam, blue blood. Neela Raktam. That doesn't convey correct meaning. Blue means Neela. Blood means Raktam. Neela Raktam, if I say, that doesn't convey meaning. Though it is correct. Word to word translation is correct. But it is not conveying the meaning. So you have to use Kulinaha word for that. So go to the dogs. Sunakam pratigachatu. Does it mean by go to the dog? When you use go to the dogs, does it mean Sunakam pratigachatu? Do you go to a dog? No, it's not like that. You will get all bad. That's what Nasham prapnotu. You will get all the sapam. It is a snapam. Go to the dogs means a sapam. Nasham prapnoti. That is the correct word for that. So having his hand full. Hand means hastav purnav. Bhavatam. Having his means bhavatam. Hastav purnav bhavatam. That is, does it convey correct meaning? No. Karyamagnaha bhavatu. He is involved in a work. When you say having his hand full means he is totally involved in lot of work. No other time for him to concentrate on other works. His hands are full. He doesn't have any spare time or spare this thing to do other works. Karma magnaha bhavatu. That is the meaning of that. So in cold blood means what? Sitala raktama. Sita raktena. Cold means sita. Blood means rakte. Sita rakte. No. It means uddesya purvakam. Cold blood murder means the murder was done intentionally. That is, then we say cold blood murder. So the cold blood means not Setala Raktam. Setala Raktam, Ushna Raktam. It's not the meaning of that. The cold blood means Uddesya Purvaka Karyakram. So that is the fourth rule. The fifth rule is translation story news item into a lengthy article. When you take a lengthy article and translate, what are the rules to be followed? See the rules. Carefully read the matter to be translated from beginning to the end. Then read each sentence and try to grasp the purport of it. As far as possible, construct simple and short sentences, dividing the matter by the purport. Each sentence may consist 3 or 4 words. In the initial stage, try to break up long sentences, thus we can minimize errors. In the beginning, do not attempt to translate passages containing technical matter or serious debates. When you are practicing, don't take very serious paras. Take very simple paras, simple stories, Sandamama stories like that. Simple stories you take and then translate. Then the practice, Anubhavam will be improving. So in the beginning, do not attempt to translate passages containing technical matter. Where technical matter is there, translating technical words into Samskrutam, it will be difficult. So we cannot be able, that Sabdagnanam we don't have. That's why don't take up technical matters first. Or serious debates. When prasangams are going on, when 2 people are discussing seriously, that they use a lot of jargons. That jargons you cannot translate. So don't use that. Serious debates, don't try to translate. Or newspaper articles. Newspaper articles, so they write something, the meaning will be different, something else. So those are, they'll use a lot of jargons, lot of camouflaged meanings. So that we cannot convey. Here bhavam has to be understood, purva paras are to be understood, past and future and all those things are to be understood. Then only you can translate. So newspaper items also don't attempt in the beginning, or editorials like that. For we will find it difficult to handle both the language and the matter. Here we have to we have to understand the language pratibha, sahitya pratibha is required, sabdagnanam is also required, and the ardham is also required. So that's why both having at the beginning stage is difficult for us. So don't attempt very serious articles. Make it a habit to go over what you have written. Once you have translated, go back again and see whether you have conveyed all the items in the para are conveyed back in the anuvadam or not. All the ideas have been conveyed or not. You just go on reading once or twice after doing translation. Don't just translate and throw it away. It may not convey sometimes, it may give wrong meaning sometimes. So check it up and correct again. Make it a habit to go over what you have written. Given below are a few examples to show how a long sentence can be broken into small sentences. A tip here is, when you read a para, concentrate on the words of action, verbs. All verb forms you concentrate. And you take each verb and make a simple sentence. That is a tip. That is easy for you to translate. So, Purvam Karavirapure Govindaha Nama Ekaha Kushakaha Vasati Sma. Ekada Saha Nagaram Gachan Asit. Tad Tasya Snehitaha Marge Militavan. Saha Prashtavan Kimbho Sarvam Kusalam Va Iti. So here, how do you do it? Purvam Karavirapure Govindaha Nama Eka Kushakaha Vasati Sma. Sri Ramaha, who was a work, this is here, once a farmer, this English one is like this, sorry, this is the translation one. The English one is this, once a farmer, one sentence. Once a farmer, Govinda by name, living in Karavirapura, on his way to the city, met a friend and he asked him, is everything well? So that is to be translated into Samskrutam. So first what is there? The Govinda is a farmer. He is there. He is living. This is the first kriya. Living is the first kriya. Okay? Purvam Karavirapure. Once means Purvam. Karavirapure. Karavirapura. In Karavirapura. Karavirapure. Govindaha Nama. Govinda by name. Govindaha Nama. A farmer. Ekaha Krushakaha. Living Vasatisma. Break it here. But this whole thing is one sentence actually. So now here living break. One. So on his way to the city. So on his way is conveying another meaning. Going. On his way to the city is conveying a meaning of going. So going you take another kriya. Gachan asit. On his way to the city. On his way means Gachan asit. While going. On his way gives meaning while going. So while going, how to translate? Gachan asit. While he is Gachan asit is the kriya there. On his way to a city. On his way gives the meaning Gachan asit. Gachan asit is second kriya. So ekada once at the same again once comes here again also. Once ekada saha Govindaha nagaram Gachan asit to the city. Then next kriya is met. Next kriya is meeting. Meeting happened. He met with a friend. That meeting is the next kriya. So militavan. Met is the past tense. So militavan. Tad tasya, tad that appudu is correct only. Tad is correct only. Tad then on the way when he is going. When he is going, he met with his friend. So tad tasya snehitaha, his friend, a friend. Marge militavan. On his way, marge militavan. Kaha militavan? Met means militavan. So this militavan is third kriya. Then next kriya is asked. Next kriya is asked. Asked is Prushtavan. So Saha Prushtavan. Who? Friend Prushtavan. He. Saha Prushtavan. Then inverted commas, direct speech. Here another Kriya is there. Is everything well? Is the Kriya. So here for this translation is Kimbho Sarvam Kusalam Va Iti. So like that, translation is done. The next translation, Sri Ram, who was a clerk in a post office and did not get a position, and once a year after retirement, he went by to the main post office, enraged and having met a higher officer. He reported to him that he was Sri Ram. He had been working in the same department, but he had not received any pension so far. So what you do is you have to read this para 2-3 times, then understand all the kriyas in it. Then you translate that. So if you understand like that kriya, the answer translation will be like this. Sri Ramaha Patralaya Karyalaye Lipikaraha Asit. The whole thing here is, the whole thing is one sentence. The whole thing is one sentence. Now how many sentences we have made here, you see. Sri Ramaha Patralaya Karyalaye Lipikaraha Asit. First sentence. Nivritte and after retirement. Eka Varshanantaram, after 1 year. Api Nirvurtatanam, pension. Na Agatam iti Saha Kennaha. So Saha Kennaha is important here. So this is second Kriya. Nivurta Ekavarshanaantaram api Nivurta Vetanam na Agatam iti Saha Kennaha. So with this is second sentence has been found. Ataha Saha Pradhana Patra Karyalayam Gatavan. He went to head post office. Then what he did there, he met him. Adhikarinam Draswan, third, next fourth sentence. Then what he told there, Aham Sri Ramaha. This first sentence he told. Then what he told, Atra Yava Purvam Karyam Karoti Sma. Next sentence. Fifth says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth, sixth sentence. Then seventh sentence. Itopi Nivurta Vetanam Nalaptam. Eighth sentence. So his one sentence he made into 8 sentences. Iti Saha Suchitavan. So how he has done? By taking all the verbs in this. Each verb, one sentence. One verb, one sentence. Like that, make simple sentences. Then you can easily translate anything. This is another tip. Next, another para. Formerly, when King Bhoja was ruling, a farmer called Suguna, as he was in city of Dhara, came across a gold vessel and felt happy that he had a lucky break. So it is also one sentence only. Here, break up. Purvam Bhojarajaha Dharanagaram Palayiti Sma. So ruling. The ruling is first sentence. The second sentence, Sagunahanama Karo Krushakaha Asit. A farmer called Suguna is there. This is implied here. Asit, second Kriya. Then third one is Ekada once Saha Karshana Samayekam Savarna Patram Drishtavan. Samayekam. Combined here. Here this can be broken up actually. Karshana Samayekam can be broken up. Karshana Samaye Ekam. Karshana Samaye Ekam Samayekam. Uddhi Sandhi has made there. Kramana Samayekam. Suvarna Patram Drishtavan. That Suvarna Patram, you can use it there. This breakup also you can do, you can combine also. Sandhi is there, Sandhi also you can do, without Sandhi also you can do. Suvarna Patram Drishtavan. Third sentence. Fourth sentence, Bhagyam Phalitam iti saha santushtaha jataha. Whatever words are used in soliloquy, inside, self, those things should be in direct speech, within inverted commas. Then iti to be used. These are the things you have to follow. Bhagyam Phalitam iti saha santushtaha jataha. This is the fifth sentence. So like that, one sentence is broken into 5 sentences. So that's how you make it simple. The next sixth rule is use of Bhota Krudanta Rupas. How to use Bhota Krudanta Rupas? That means Patitavan, Likitavan, Kurtavan, Tavata Prachya. Where to use that? We know that past participle Bhota Krudantas are used in place of verbal forms of past tense. For past tense, Lakara Kriya is apatat. In place of apatat, you can write Patitavan. This Patitavan, this is wrong. Patitavan. I wrote wrongly. Pathitavan. Tha, not tha. Pathitavan. Apatat means Pathitavan. Patitavati, if it is lady. If it is neutral, Patitavat. This is Tavata Pratyaya. So apatat is same for all the three lingas. But when you use Pullingam, Strilingam, Napusakam, you have to use these three rupas. So, but this is easier to use. Apatat may be difficult for you, but Paditavan may be easy to use. Paditavan, Paditavati, Paditavat. You can use like that. Similar Alikat, Likitavan, Likitavati, Likitavat. Akarot, Kurtavan, Kurtavati, Kurtavat. Agachat, Gatavan, Gatavati, Gatavat. For these simple sentences, simple verbs, it is easy for you to understand. You can use this thing also. Apatat, Alikat, Agarakarot, Agachat you can use. But there will be some other kriyas, difficult kriyas will be there. For those difficult kriyas, using this bhutakalam will be difficult. So for example, praharati is there. This praharati kriya is there. Upasarga vanna kriya. The kriyas which is having upasarga, having preposition. If you are having that kriyas, when you want to do bhutakalam for that, it will be difficult for you. You have to use akaram and then do bhutakalam. Can you say apraharat? Because you have to use akaram, you add a and make ati into at. Apraharat, can you say? Patita, patati, apatat. Similarly, praharati, apraharat. Can you say that? No, it is wrong. Because pra is upasarga. Pra is to be removed. Then aharat is to be written. Then pra is to be added again. Then it becomes praharat. But our mind is going on having akaram in the beginning. Past tense means akaram should be there. Apatat, alikat, agachat. Like that all our mind is going because we are simple. We are not very knowledgeable. Praharat means apraharat only we will think. Immediately it will not strike to us that apraharat is wrong because pra is upasarga. So we do commit mistakes. In such cases, what is to be done? Go to the Bhota Krudantas, this Patitavan type of kriyas. That is easier. There you can easily translate and use it. Viharati. If you have to use Viharati in Lakara Kriya, you have to use Vyaharat. V plus Aharat, Vyaharat you have to use. This is difficult for you, no, in the beginning. Because these kriyas are difficult kriyas with upasarga. So what you do? Vihrutavan. Viharati, Vihrutavan. Easy to use. So use Vihrutavan. Similarly, Samharati, Samhrutavan. Svikaroti, Svikrutavan. Upavishati, Upavishtavan. Prakshalayati, Prakshaalitavan. Easy to adopt into the Bhota Krudantas. This is a present tense. This is past tense. Lakara Kriya, Bhota Krudanta Kriya. Bhota Krudanta Kriya usage is easier than Lakara Kriya because these verb forms are having upasarga. Uttishtati, Uddhitavan. Prakshalayati, Prakshaalitavan. Agacchati, Agatavan. Udaharati, Udahrutavan. Prapnoti, Praptavan. Angikaroti, Angikartavan. Easier to use. So use Bhota Krudantas to make it faster translation. So next set is adjectives uses. When you use adjectives, what are the rules to be followed? So clever boy, Buddhiman Balaha. Here the word clever was an adjective, Visheshan. The word boy Balaha, which is substantive, that is Visheshyam. Visheshana Vishesha Saropyam is required. The object of description is substantive Vishesham. We have learnt in the second lesson. Visheshana Vishesha Saropyam we have learnt in the earlier lesson, second lesson. What is the Saropyam between these two? Linga, Vachana, Vibhakti, Sarupyam. That means whatever Lingam, Vachanam, Vibhakti is there for Visheshyam, the same Lingam, Vachanam, Vibhakti should be there for Visheshanam. So that rule is to be followed while doing translation also. So here, the adjective Visheshanam follows the substantive Visheshanam in case, number and Linga. Vibhakti, Vachanam and Linga. So in doing, say, let us take the word Chaturaha. How Chaturaha is used in different places. You see here, a clever boy, Chaturaha Balaha. A clever girl, here also clever, here also clever. But when Sanskritam, when you do it, for Balaha it is Chaturaha, for Balika it is Chatura. You cannot use same Chaturaha here also. The rule of Sanskritam is different. Here, Visheshna Vishesha Sarupam is a must in Sanskritam. You cannot use Chatraha Balika. You have to use Chatraha Balika. Then, by the clever boy, here also clever only. Only clever is used here. But here, clever boy to use, it will not do. By the clever. By the clever, it is not Chatraha. Chaturena. Because Bala is in by. Bala is in Tritiya Bhakti. Since Bala is in Tritiya Bhakti, Balena, Chaturena, Balena, both should be used in Tritiya Bhakti. Because the word by is used for this sentence. Since by is there, this by is applicable for clever as well as for boy also. By clever, by boy. We have to use in Sanskritam. By clever means Chaturena, by boy means Balena. Chaturena, Balena. So, Vijective and Visheshanam, Visheshyam both should be used in Tritiya Bhakti here. So, here the by is only one place it is used. Clever and boy is separately, individually used. By boy, by clever is not used. But in Sanskritam, it will be like that. Chaturena Balena, both you have to use in Tritiya Bhakti. So, similarly, clever girl, Ditya Bhakti Prayogam, object, Karma Prayogam. Clever girl, the clever girl is there. The clever girl is to be called. So, Chaturam Balikam. We use it as a object. When you use an object, it should be used in Ditya Bhakti. So, Chaturam Balikam we have to use. To the clever boy, this is the Chaturdev Bhakti. Chaturam Balikam Ditya Bhakti is used here. To the clever boy, Chaturdev Bhakti is used. You give a flower to the clever boy, or you give a praise to the clever boy. So, to the giver, boy is receiving here. When the boy is receiving, that boy should be used in Chaturdev Bhakti. A receiver should be always in Chaturdev Bhakti. So, Balaya, Bala Sabdan should go to Chaturdev Bhakti. Balaya. Then, what is the Visheshanam Chaturaha Bala? What type of Balaha is Chaturaha? So, that Chatur Sabdan should go to Chaturdev Bhakti. Chaturaya Balaya. So, of the clever girl, here girl is there, not Balaha. So, it should be used in Strilinga Rupam. Chatura Sabdasya Strilinga Rupam Chaturayaha. Chaturayaha. Chaturayaha Balikayaha. So, like that, Visheshna Vishesha Sarupyam, you have to use. Similarly, in that house, we use the Sarvanam Sabdas also. Those Sarvanam Sabdas are also to be used in as an adjective. Here in that is the adjective to the house. That is a Sarvanam. So, Tasmin. That in that Tasmin Gruhe, A Gruhanlo, in that means A house, A intlo, that house. In that house we say Gruham, Tat Gruham Prathama Vibhakti. But in that house, Gruhe. Since Gruhe has gone to Saptami Vibhakti, A also, that also should go to Saptami Vibhakti. For that Sabdam, what is Saptami Vibhakti? Tasmin Gruhe. So, to these boys, this is again Chaturdev Bhakti. Balakebhyaha Chaturdev Bhakti. So, for that Sarvanamam, Etebhyaha, we should use. So, that boy, the object, karma, then Balakam. When you use Balakam, its Sarvanama should be Tam, A Balakam, that Balakam, Tam Balakam. So, in this sentence, this also again Saptami Bhakti Prayogam. In, when you use in, that goes to Saptami Bhakti. In Prayogam. When in is there, Vakye, in sentence, Vakye. In which sentence? This sentence. So, this is Etasmin. To that school. To school. That is Chaturdev Bhakti. Vijyalayaya. For that is Tasmai. Tasmai Vijyalayaya. So of these lessons, of is Shashti Vibhakti. Lessons, Shashti Vibhakti Bahuvachanam, Pathanam. Similarly, Etesham Pathanam. Eshaha Pataha, Pradhama Vibhakti Ekavachanam. Shashti Vibhakti Bahuvachanam, Etesham Pathanam. Similarly, of that village, Tasya Gramasya. Village means Gramasya. This is wrong. Gramasya. So further Shashti Vibhakti Prayogam. So Tasya is to be used. Tasya Gramasya. This book is again Karmani Prayogam, Karma Prayogam. So Ditya Vibhakti is to be used. Etat Pustakam. Pustakam Napustakam. So Etat is also Napustaka Sabda. Etat Napustakam. By these people, Tritiya Vibhakti Prayogam. So Janai, by people, Janai. So by these, Etai. The by goes for both. By these, by people. So all these in, to goes for both adjective as well as the main Vishesham. These pens, Etaha Lekanya. Like that, this is seventh rule. What is eighth rule? When you are using vidhiling in the passive form, Karmani Kriya, you have to follow certain rules. In Karmani Prayogam, what are the rules of Karmani Prayoga Vakyam? Karta should be in Tritiya Vibhakti. Karma should be in Prathama Vibhakti. Kriya should follow Karma. So here we have to recapitulate our knowledge on Kartari Prayoga Vakyam and Karmani Prayoga Vakyam. In Kartari Prayoga Vakyam, what are the rules? Karta should be in Prathama Vibhakti. Karma should be in Ditya Vibhakti. Kriya should follow Karta. That is Kartari Prayoga Vakyam, active voice. When you go to passive voice, Karta should be in Tritiya Vibhakti. Karma should be in Prathama Vibhakti. Kriya should follow Karma. This is Karmani Prayoga. So here, when you are writing a sentence, what Kriya you are using? Kartari Prayoga Kriya you are using, Karmani Prayoga Kriya is using. That you have to see. And accordingly, you have to construct the sentence. So I must read the book. This is in Kartari Prayoga Vakyam. But if you translate into directly, word to word, what you write is, I means aham, must read means pataniyam, the book means grandham. You write aham grandham pataniyam, you write. But is this correct? Let us see. He must go to the village. He, saha, village gramam, must go gantamyam, you write. Is it correct? No. We'll see why it is not correct. We all must show sincerity. We, vayam, sincerity, shraddhayam, shraddham, all, sarve, all must, all sincerity, sarve shraddham must show darshaniyam. Because must is coming, you have to use a vidhiling prayer. Darshaniyam. Boy must eat fruit. Balakaha, wrong. Balakaha. Visarga to be used. Balakaha phalam kadaniyam. Must eat. Must eat is kadaniyam. Fruit means phalam. Boy means balakaha. Word to word translation. Is it correct? No, because you are using the Karmani Prayoga Kriyas here and writing Prathama Vibhakti for Karta. You must not commit mistake. Tvam dosham na karaniyam. Must commit. Must not commit. Dosham na karaniyam you are writing. But for you are writing tvam. For mistake you are writing dosham. But is this correct? Can you write Karta in Prathama Vibhakti when you are using the Karmani Prayoga Kriya? No. So that's the wrong here. All these sentences are wrong sentence grammatically because you are using a Karmani Prayoga Kriya and using Karta as Prathama Vibhakti and Karma in Ditya Vibhakti. So in translation, you are doing wrong translation. Whether you have to use this also Kartari Prayoga Kriya you have to use, or you have to use, this is Karmani Prayoga rules you have to use for these two. Karta Tritiya Vibhakti, Karma Ditya Prathama Vibhakti you have to use. That's how you have to translate. So translating each word individually is wrong. The whole sentence must be taken into consideration while translation. The whole sentence you have to read, understand, and translate. So I must read the book. This sentence can be translated either in active voice, kartari prayagaha, or in passive voice, karmani prayagaha. If you are doing kartari prayagaha, I must read the book. This sentence, if you read kartari prayagaha, what you have to do? Karta prathama vibhakti, karma ditya vibhakti, kartri kriya, following karta, kriya following karta. Then what will happen? I means aham, the book means grandham, ditya vibhakti, aham prathama vibhakti, grandham ditya vibhakti, patchet. Patchet is what? Sambhavanarthe vidhiling. We learnt. We must read. Must read is active voice. Must read is active voice. Patchet is active voice here. So patchet kriya is to be used when you are using karta in prathama vibhakti. Aham grandham patchet you should say. You cannot say aham grandham pataniyam. So lakara sambhavanarthe vidhilinga. Lakara sambhavanarthe vidhilinga kriya should be used when you are using active kriya for must. Then in case we do translation in passive voice, then what are the rules to be followed? Karta tritiya vibhakti, karma prathama vibhakti, then karmani kriya to be used. So what is the way? So karta prathama vibhakti, that means I should be used in tritiya vibhakti. Karta tritiya vibhakti. So I should be used in tritiya vibhakti. What is tritiya vibhakti for I? Maya. By me. Maya book should be put in prathama vibhakti. That is grandaha, prathama vibhakti. Then pataniyaha, the vidhilinga rupa. Tabit priyapa, aniyar prichayam. Karmani prayoga, kurdanta vidhilinga kriya to be used. So in English, the expression is usually in active voice as I must read the book. But then when translating into Samskrutam, if we are unsure to put in active voice or passive voice, we end up commencing the sentence in active voice and finishing in passive voice, like here. Because I is there, like this. I is there, you have used aham. When you read, when you came to must read, you may use patniyam. Started with kartari prayagam, ended in karmani prayagam. This is wrong. If you are thinking for beginning itself, whether you are using kartari prayakriya or karmani prayakriya. If you are using karmani prayakriya, you have to use this aham as maya. Maya grandaha pataniyaha to be used. Saha gramam gattagantayam, tap meaning wrong. Tena gramaha gandhavyaha. Gramaha gandhavyaha. Gramam gantavyam. Like that you have to translate in karmani prayagam. So, maya grandaha pataniyaha to be passive voice rules. So therefore the translating expressions like must do, must read, etc. Extra care is to be taken. If an aniyaranta or tavyanta are used, the sentence has to be in passive also only. The use of karmani prayoga is very common in Sanskritam. Normally, karmani prayoga is mostly used in Sanskritam. Therefore, let us follow the karmani rule, tritiya prathama karmani kriya, and translate the sentences to passive voice only. However, it is not wrong to state the same in kartari prayogam also. Writing kartari prayogam is nothing wrong. But when you are using karmani prayoga kriya, you have to follow the rules of karmani prayogam and use karta and kriya, karma in tritiya vibhakti and prathama vibhakti respectively. So last rule is ninth rule. Ninth rule is use the style and standard of bhasha maryada. Every language has got its own maryada. That maryada is to be followed. That sadacharam is to be followed always. I don't know. Aham na janami. That is correct one. Here I is okay. Aham na janami. Then I want. Here also you use I. But can you use I in the next one? For want, you are saying avasyakam. But avasyakam, when you say, you cannot use I. Na koraku avasyakam. For me, aham rochate. Mahyam rochate. Na koraku avashyakam. So that is going to Chaturthi Bhakti. When you are using avasyakam, I cannot be aham. I should be used as mahyam. Chaturthi Bhakti you have to use. So that sadacharam is to be followed. When you use avasyakam shabdam, the I cannot be Pradhama Bhakti. I should be in Chaturthi Bhakti. That is Bhasha Maryada. Similarly, I have a headache. You cannot say aham sirovedana asti. It's not wrong. Nayaka sirovedana asti. For off my head. The headache of my head. Mama sirovedana. Mama. You are using Sashti Bhakti. Aham. Aham Shabda Sashti Bhakti is Mama. Mama sirovedana asti you have to say. You cannot say I sirovedana asti, you cannot say. Aham sirovedana asti, you cannot say. That is Sadacharam. That is Bhasha Maryada. Then he told me is your karma there. Somebody telling to you, you cannot say for me, I. He told I, you cannot say. Me you are using. For me you are use mom. Mom avadat. You cannot say aham avadat. You will say aham avadat, I am telling. But telling is done by somebody else to you. So, mom avadat, for me he told. Mom avadat. Ditya Bhakti you have to use for I. For me you have to use Ditya Bhakti here. I am intelligent. Here for I, you have to use Mayi. I am intelligent. In me, intelligence is there. In me. When you say in me, Saptami is to be used. Mayi buddhi asti. In me, buddhi is there. So for that, aham shadma should go to Saptami Bhakti, Mayi. In the above sentence, I translate as aham, mahyam, mam, mayi in different cases. What is the reason for this? Every language has its style and standards, Bhasha Maryada. Translation will be perfect only when one show follows this. Otherwise, it will be upside. So, in 10 chapters of Parichaya book of Samskruta Bharati has got 10 chapters, Parichaya book. In all the 10 chapters, this Anuradha Paddhati was written. Explained. I have explained everything here. All the rules I have explained here. But they have given some abhyasams there. In every lesson, they have given abhyasam. Please take that book and do the abhyasams, then you will get the practice. In 10 chapters of Parichaya book of Samskruta Bharati, exercises are given in lesson, not only for Anuvad Paddhati, for everything they have given. For all the section what I am talking here, I am telling only the principles. There are abhyasams are there in the book. Those abhyasams you have to do to make it more understanding the subject. So, those abhyasams you have to you buy the book. It's hardly 300 rupees a book. Buy the book, whether you write their exam or not, do those abhyasams and practice to make it. If you have got any difficulty, come to my classes. On Fridays evening, Parichaya class is there at 8:30. On Tuesday morning at 5:30, class is there. After this course is over, my classes goes up to August end for this August examination. So you can attend those classes, ask your doubts on any subject of Parichaya. I'll stop here. Sahanavavatu Sahanav Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvina Avadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Yam Vaidika Mantra Drisha Purana Indram Yamam Mata Riswana Mahu Vedantino Vachaniyamekam Yam Brahma Sabdena Vinidhisanti Shaivayamisham Sivaicha Vochan Yam Vaishnava Vishnu Ritistuvanti Buddhastadar Hanniti Bauddha Jainaha Sasri Akaleti Chasakka Santaha Shasteti Kechit Prakuti Kumaraha Swamiti Mateti Piteti Bhakcha Yam Prardhayante Jagadi Sitaram Sayeka Eva Praprabditiya Om Shanti 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 Satsam Vada Dharmanchara Sarve Janaha Sukhno Bhavantu Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Para Brahma Tasmai Sri Guru Venaha Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanas Idano Namaskaraha. Any doubts are there, you can ask after completion of this, the routine pradhana and all those things.
Yeah.
Because time is over.
Thank you, Prabhakar Rao, for the nice session today. We'll take up questions after the pradhana. Okay. Babu garu.
Okay. Thank you all. let us go for Prarthana. Sudhir ji, please chant Prarthana.
Presentation has to be removed. Presentation to be removed.
स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महिं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितो ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः अपुत्राः पुत्रिणः सन्तु पौत्रिणः अधनाः सधनाः सन्तु जीवन्तु शरदां शतं सत्यं वद धर्मं चर स्वाध्यायान् मा प्रमदः सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम् ॐ सर्वे जनाः सुखिनो भवन्तु स्वस्ति
सर्वे जनाः सुखिनो भवन्तु स्वस्ति. ధన్యవాదములండి సుధీర్ గారు. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్. లెట్స్ గో ఫర్ జనగణమన.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जनगण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जय हिंद.
जय हिंद. जय श्री राम. Keyyurana, I forgot.
Even I forgot about that. Okay, now any questions? People can raise their hand and ask the questions. Please raise your hand and ask the questions. Don't directly ask. In fact, today's session was a very, very practical session wherein people can understand how to talk, how to translate in the day-to-day language also, conversation also, how to speak is very well explained. And anyone has any questions? I think there are no questions.
Then we'll recite that Keyyurana.
Yeah. Venkatnarayan garu, are you there? Or anyone who can recite this Samskrita slokam, Geetam?
Mayana Gaitam, Guruji.
Yeah, pardon? Rajalakshmi garu, you cheptara? Cheppandi. Please.
Gurubhyo Namaha. Keyorana bhushayanti purusham harana chandrojvala na snanam na vilepanam na kusumam na alankrita mudhajaha वाण्येकासमलङ्करोति पुरुषं या संस्कृता धार्यते क्षीयन्ते खलु भूषणानि सततम् वाग्भूषणं भूषणम् ధన్యవాదాలు గురుజీ.
ధన్యవాదాలండి రాజలక్ష్మి గారు. Thank you very much. That's a very nice slokam for any the Sanskritam classes. It purifies. It looks very purified. Babu garu.
Okay, now let us stop recording.